You know what this is? Well, some of you may know what it is. It's actually a type of metal detector. I received this as a gift back on Sunday Night Live last year, and the great thing about this, it's actually waterproof. So we're going to swim some of these little shallow pools here at 7 Tubs and see if we find any lost treasures. So if you'd like to see what we find, well, simply come along with me. Alright, so before we get back in the water, I want to briefly show you what I do have with me as far as equipment. I do have my goggles, which does have my action camera mount, so you guys will be mounted up here once we get back in the water. I do have my snorkel, obviously. This is known as a pinpointer, at least to me. It goes by other names, and it actually works in conjunction with regular metal detectors. The kind that you scan with the coil on it. That'll locate an item. This helps you basically pinpoint or find its exact location once you dig a hole. But since it's waterproof, you can actually use it underwater. And the way it works is you power it on, it does vibrate and beep, has a light on it, and if you get anywhere within a couple inches of a metal object, it'll start going off. The closer you get to it, the louder it beeps, the faster it vibrates. You kind of hear that with the metal and the camera there. So, since we have a shallow area of water here, I'm able to kind of scan around. If anything is lodged in any cracks or crevices or under some debris, this should be able to find it. Next up, I do have a net that could strap to me. This is to put any findings in here to keep them safe and not losing them or having to hold them or put them in my pocket. There's just a little net with a zipper on it, and I can go underwater and keep everything collected until we finish up our treasure hunt. What I have here is one of the most ridiculously high-powered flashlights I've ever had my hands on. This was actually sent to me last year, and I never did a review on it, but it is waterproof, and it's basically overkill for what we're doing here. This is more like a deep diving light. It can shoot so far, so bright, it's ridiculous, and it's much too bright for what we're doing here. But I wanted to bring it along, though, in case there are any deep pockets. It has a few different settings as far as how bright you want the light to be. But if you do want to get any information on this, it is by Sofern. It's the SD01. I will put a link in the pinned comment section. So check the comment section. The very first comment will have a link to this light if you want to get more information. So that is all my gear. And we are going to basically start snorkeling these shallow pools and see what we find.
So you hear that beeping sound? That is the pinpointer beeping for no apparent reason almost constantly. I don't know what was going on with it. I had to keep turning it on and off because it just kept beeping for no apparent reason. I know I did set it off a couple times getting too close to the housing of the flashlight, but whether I was near an object or not, it just started beeping randomly, and throughout the rest of the video I'm constantly turning it on and off, as you can see right here, and it just starts beeping almost instantly. So for the remainder of this video, I'm going to overlay some music and mute the audio, that way you don't have to listen to the constant beeping. But later on in the video, I will explain more as to what caused that beeping issue. So I'm back at the vehicle and it's starting to rain. Not that it makes much difference, I'm soaking wet anyways. So before I show you my findings, and yes, I did find some stuff, I do want to let you know initially what I think so far. Now, this is a pretty cool tool. I need some practice with it though. There's a lot of times I was going too close to the flashlight housing, setting it off. And there's some times too where I had it really far away and it would start beeping on its own and vibrating for no particular reason. Like there was nothing near it and it wouldn't stop unless I turned it off and turned it back on a few times. So I don't know, maybe it has a weak battery or I'm just using it incorrectly. I will reread the instructions, maybe look up on YouTube for some tutorials or how-tos, because it is a useful tool. I did find a couple things with it, but towards the end I started just searching with my own eyes and I did eyeball a few things as well. So this definitely was useful and fun to use. I just need more practice with it, make sure I'm doing it properly and correctly, or maybe look up for a one that's more compatible for me. I don't know, that'll be determined in the future. But so after coming back home, I did reread the instructions and looked up online for some tutorials, how-tos, and I was using this correctly. The only thing I did wrong is I got it too close to the housing of the flashlight, which did set it off, but that's the only thing I did wrong. After a couple of minutes, it just started beeping constantly for no apparent reason. I turned it off and on well over a dozen times, and it just kept beeping, which made it nearly impossible to find any targets. It was not going to be useful, so I put it away and just eyeballed for the remainder of my underwater adventure. And even after putting a new battery in it, days later, still beeping for no apparent reason. So after looking online as to some possible reasons, products like this have been known to get faulty sensors. So it's not going to be able to be used anymore for its intended use. But during my research, I did come across another product which is specifically designed for underwater metal detecting. So I actually went ahead and ordered it. And once it arrives, it's actually coming all the way from California. I'm going to wait for a good patch of weather and either go back to Seven Tubs or to another location, and I think we'll have much better results, because the whole purpose of going out was to find underwater treasures, whether it's something of value or just some scrap metal. But I wanted to, you know, go through the hunt and try to find stuff that I couldn't see with the naked eye. The snorkel and goggles worked flawlessly. If you guys want a link to these goggles, let me know. I'll give you one. I like them because they have a great, nice fit on my face, which is a large face, and it does have the clamp here for the action camera, so you can mount your camera. Sometimes getting the angle properly aligned can be troublesome. Sometimes I don't know if I have it too low or too high. So if there's some things you couldn't see that I was pointing at or showing you, that would be why. It's all trial and error. So other than that though, my little net did yield a few things which I did empty out. So come on, let's check them out. Okay, so here's my findings. Now, nothing really outstanding, but still cool nonetheless. This, I thought, when I saw it, I thought it was a large chunk of coal. It's not, it's just a rock. This, though, is a shiny piece of coal, and I found that with my own eyes. I was shining the flashlight, and the flashlight was making this kind of shimmer and shine. So I found a nice little piece of coal on the creek bed. Pieces of glass, which I took out for safety reasons, so nobody steps on them. I did find this little piece of aluminum, I believe. It's very soft and bendable. This I found, which I think is some type of like chestnut or something. It's almost completely round. I thought it was like a little pinball or cannonball, but it has a flat bottom, a little tip on it. I think it's a type of chestnut, but it's laying on the bottom. And I did find the quarter and the penny. So all in all, it was by no means a failure. I did find some pretty cool stuff for my very first time doing it. You know, didn't have expectations too high, but I'm glad I'm leaving with something better than nothing. Now, if you guys haven't seen, I was here last year doing snorkeling as well before I even had the metal detector, and I went down the 7 different tubs, and I actually found a lot of stuff just by eyeballing it. I found sunglasses, I found some kind of costume jewelry and stuff like that. So if you want to see that video, it will be linked down below in the description. But if you want to, again, find out about this flashlight, which actually yielded to be pretty good. It showed, whatever that word is, showed the light very far and very crisp and clear. It probably was washing out the camera at some points because it's so bright, but without this, it would have been much more difficult because there's some deep pockets, some shady areas that are hard to see, and this performed great. I mean, this would be great for scuba diving or searching deeper pools. The last thing I want to mention, that I think if I was to go to some other areas not only here, but like just in general, if I go to like creeks or rivers, wow, under like bridges or overpasses or known swimming holes, I might have more luck finding stuff, either eyeballing it or with the metal detector. I'm definitely gonna try it again. I just need to get some practice on it and make sure I'm doing it correctly, because something I was doing wrong kept triggering it for no reason. And I don't know, maybe it's a battery issue, who knows. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. This is my very first time doing it, and thank you to the viewer who did send this out to me. It's a fun item to use for underwater stuff, and hope to do it again in the future. And as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.